Okay, for the eighth time, Jesus
We're
Christ.
back.
Welcome back to the NCUT movie review, and today we have together, this might be the weirdest movie of 2025.
Agreed.
It starts off with like the biggest jump scare, and then never touches on any other jump scares in the whole movie.
No.
It keeps getting eerily weird with random cutscenes, random cut shots of Dave Franco standing out windows, being in a car, just...
The scariest
Like this.
jump scare is Dave Franco at the side of my window right now. I just looked out there just then. He's just staring at me. He said he needs to see me.
He's got some connection towards
Yeah.
us. I don't know what it is, but this whole movie is like trying to anticipate you for something different. Like it starts off with a jump scare and then immediately uses a riser to get you anticipating and then cuts it off. Like nothing happens after that scene. So it does a lot of misdirection throughout this film and it works kind of well in a weird way.
If my girl ever starts talking to me in the middle of the night in a weird voice saying, "Tell him to stop looking," it freaks me out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, "Shut up," and I'm running away.
What does she say? You're worthless. And then
Yeah.
he's just like, what?
And he just accept like what? And then it never really touches. I mean, one more scene where it touches on him having that sort of like epiphany or that moment of like he's in a deep anxiety attack or something like that. And that misdirection was just prevalent in this movie so much. While it didn't have the constant jump scares that you usually have in these movies that keeps you sort of like, oh, I'm ready, ready, ready. It kept you anticipating like, I want to see what happens next. I want things to be explained. Now, that was one of the downfalls of this movie. Things weren't explained enough. The occult side of it was not delved into enough. I mean, it's based around a cult thing like it always is with a morphing of two souls into one, and then little Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe comes out as like the xenomorph version of these two characters morphed together as one. I've just said morph like 14 times.
He's in the morph suit.
But the occult side of it was not explained enough. And I know these movies don't need to explain that because we've seen this over and over and over again. But I still think you've got this cool church in the forest. I want to know more about why. Why are these people so willing to morph into one another? I know it's all about codependency, this movie, and fair enough, where there's probably people who do struggle with this a lot, but explain it, please.
Yeah, I think the one good thing about this film as well that made you really feel connected to this movie is the acting. Because Dave Franco and his missus absolutely killed it in this role. They're as a couple, as independent, as trying to become independent, but they really did work. I know they're married in real life. If you watch Dave Franco becomes like a shell of himself throughout this entire movie, you just think to yourself, holy shit, he's better than James. And James is considered a better actor. And then he's not. Clearly, watch this movie and you know. His wife absolutely killed some of the decision making. It was weirdly funny from her side of the acting too, because once that they do drink the fountain of youth and they have like the xenomorph inside them that wants to be connected together, the whole movie was basically trying to not be connected. And she chopped like half of their arms off because all the skin would start to melt together and really weird fucking sadistic depictions of things.
Yeah.
But it worked. It worked in her acting. That's what made me believe that it was real. And them screaming once their arm pretty much got chopped off with 3rd-degree burns. It looked really good, really gory. This prosthetic department, amazing to look at. The movie was kind of visually satisfying as well. When you see the cutscenes and you see the acid trip that Dave Franco goes on right after he drinks the water and the lungs start to inspire. You see the whole cave kind of also go out. It's just a really satisfyingly watched movie.
And I think one of the interesting things that we're watching this movie we picked up straight away is that like in the background, obviously Dave's missus in this is a teacher, and we were like, oh, that looks like a similar like sort of whiteboard, that looks like a similar classroom, which is, I mean, for most people that would be sort of, you wouldn't notice that. Then you see like a V-line train, you're like, hang on a minute, this is literally filmed in Australia, which completely threw us off guard because we were like, why would this movie be filmed in Australia? But this seems to be a recurring theme of movies being themed in Australia. It must be a good place to film.
Especially a horror one.
Yeah, and the government pays them to come over here. But that was also interesting because, it was so well shot, but it's in like the mountain ranges of Adelaide. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't expect that at all, especially for someone, I guess, as big or well-known as Dave Franco. But that added to sort of our enjoyment of how beautiful visually this movie was because we're like, hey, it's Australia.
And at one point there, you hear like one of the supporting
Yeah,
actresses
I
is
mean,
like,
it's
you're like,
so jarring.
you're like, who is this lady? And then you hear his no, and you're like, oh, she's 100% Australian.
You sure he's feeling all right? I don't think he feels very good. Like, and then you're like, oh, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
I thought also Alison Brie looks so much like Shelley Duvall in The Shining. If they did a remake of The Shining, Alison Brie.
We're taking a call mid-pod. This is going to be recorded too under the coffee break.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice throughout the whole movie when I was watching it, I just thought to myself, this is Shelley Duvall on the screen. Like, if they had to do a biopic or some sort of a documentary or remake of The Shining being what it is, one of the best horror movies of all time, I mean, we know coming out of that movie, half of them, she was messed up from the movie for life. I mean, I think she had literal PTSD from it. But if they needed to do a remake of it, Alison Brie is the person to go for.
100%. And there's also, speaking about a real horrifying scene in here, there was one scene, and I love in horror films, when I'm watching them, I can kind of guess or pick what's happening after. And in this specific scene, Dave he was just fiending for sex. Yeah. And he absolutely hates his wife the entire movie.
Yeah,
so the whole setup is like he is not as in love with her as she is in love with him. She even drops the knee to him. That's how much she's in love with him, right? And to this scene, he follows her to school and he wants to chop her in the bathroom, right? Mid-bathroom. I just remember thinking, please, for God, don't get stuck together in that position. And what happens? He's stuck inside her, quite literally stuck inside her. I couldn't think of anything worse. As a guy watching that, don't want that to ever happen.
And also the wherewithal of his wife in the movie, or girlfriend in the movie, Alison Brie, to just like compose herself and walk outside to speak to the teacher who just caught them having sex in the stall. I mean, it just added to the whole eeriness of this movie, also the unsettling feeling. But their depiction of really selling what they were feeling in the movie, you could feel it.
I don't want to ever feel it. If that's an option, please, I don't. So overall, I think I'm going to give this movie probably an 8 on a horror scale. I enjoyed the eeriness side of things. I don't really enjoy like the super scary horror jumping all the time. Only certain movies can do that, and Smile 2 being one of them. Or an Insidious franchise or a Conjuring franchise. But these movies that keep you psychologically guessing and trying to think what's coming ahead, those entertain me. And especially with The Substance, considering that got such a high rating from us, and also audience retention score. I mean, those things are amazing. CTR. And that's what I think I enjoyed about this film. So I think overall it deserves an 8. Great acting. Love the cinematography side of it.
Yeah, I thought the movie was great too. I thought the acting was really well done. The only thing I sort of found stupid, if you fell into a cave like that, you're not drinking stagnant water because it has brain-eating fungi and you're going to die. That's one thing. 2, you're not sleeping in that fucking cave. You're getting out of that cave because you're like, hey, this is not normal, right?
Yeah.
So that was the only thing where I was like, okay, this is a bit stupid. I know they were sort of like city slickers and they were, I guess, depicting them as like, oh, well, yeah, we'll just, oh, she'll be right, we'll live in here and trust it like that. Like, obviously people who live in the outback would be like, get the fuck out of there, you're in danger. But that was the only thing I found stupid about this movie. You wouldn't drink the stagnant water.
I was waiting for like 11 to come out of that little fucking breeding hole because it looked exactly like Stranger Things.
Yes.
Like completely stolen. Yeah. So just weird.
And like they deserve what happened to them because why would you drink stagnant water with brain-eating fungi in it? Like you're literally just trying to make The Last of Us 2 happen.
Yeah. I wonder if the feeling of that feeling inside them is actually worth it. I feel like it's like a heroin addict to a crack addict or some shit, or crack to a crack addict.
But everyone should see this movie. It's really great. And I think
for sure.
Not a typical jump scary movie. It's more like a building up the eeriness that you're just completely uncomfortable watching it, but you also want to see where this goes and what happens.
Yeah. I also think if you want to wait for stream, enjoy it in your own home, because I think that also adds a little bit of something to it. I don't know what it is.
If you're watching it with your significant other, and definitely watch this movie with a significant other as well.
Yeah, if you don't have one, GG's. Anyway, guys, been another NCUT movie review. Peace, we out.
Peace.
And cut.